Hi there, welcome back to Let's Suffer Together. I'm Suffer, back with the Undermine Relic tier list, with 9 new relics today, with Headwound. How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing really good. Looking forward to some good relics for today.
Indeed, we've got a few eclectic ones today, a few very similar ones, but just a little classic subtleties in them that make them really quite nice to get our teeth into. Also, how you doing, Priskip?
Yeah, pretty good. Almost got struck by lightning a couple hours ago, but I didn't, and the power didn't go out, so I'm here. I'm good.
Well, fuck. That sounds a little bit hairy, but, well,
Yeah,
look
we
on the
had a
positive
massive
side.
thunderstorm.
Yeah. Right, we're Priskip with the first relic. Let's get back into it.
Yeah, so the first one of the day is the Axe Thrower's Pendant. One of the most common relics in the game, in my opinion. I tend to find this thing all the time. I usually try to transmute it. What it does is it will give you more throw damage the lower your health gets. However, out of all the pendants that we'll be talking about today, this one tends to give you the most amount of damage. Now, granted, you have to be at low health, but if you're at low health, you tend to want to try to keep your distance from enemies to try to avoid getting hit, to avoid dying. So, this thing gives you more damage to help you survive when you're at low health at that range. It's pretty good, but I usually tend not to need it because I don't like getting hit and I don't like being at low health to begin with. But in an emergency, it can really save you. Your guys' thoughts?
Headwound?
Yeah, this one, I have a mixed relationship with this one because I am a player that I love my throw. I really do. But I also love my health. And I think I love my health more than I do my throw. So, in general, I will try to be as high with my health as possible, which means that this relic doesn't really come in use. It doesn't mean that it's worthless. I would say this is a very valuable relic in early summoning stones because the mobs aren't going to three-shot you or two-shot you. And so you may be at lower health more often. And you could really kind of eke this out and get some really powerful damage from your throw. With that being said, you really shouldn't be getting hit. You need to teach yourself not to be hit in the game. Yes, it's going to happen, but this is one that has, I mean, there's a reason that it's common. It's not that progressive as you move down your summoning stone. So, that's my thoughts.
This is one I define as a forced relic, one you're often forced to take due to no other options, no transmutes. It's one that, while it's a forced relic, has value, as the others have been saying, that despite the fact throw is a secondary, however, it is a positive secondary where you're going to be using it quite a bit and it has a lot of functionality. You do get a lot of damage from when you start to lose HP, much more than the other types of pendants out there for the low HP value. You just, I remember using this once and just being astonished by the amount of extra damage it was giving me. I don't know if it was in combination with Furiosity and stuff like that, extra critical damage on top of it, but it just, because also in higher summoning stones you're going to be having a hell of a lot of HP, so it kind of stacks. When say you've got 1,000 HP, it'll give you more damage. It kind of grows in the amount of damage it gives you the more HP you have, essentially. So it can really grow. Say you're at half health at 1,000 HP, you will have a lot more extra damage than you would be at half health at 500 HP. Say you're at 250. So there's that to consider as well. It's super valuable. Say you've just got an abundance of HP, then you don't mind running a little low. It's always been a good emergency relic as well. So I have a bit of fondness for this, but it's not. Again, I do feel it's a bit forced.
So where do you think we should rate this thing? Personally, for me, I was thinking about a C plus B minus.
I looked at the B minus.
Yeah, I was thinking the B minus.
Yeah.
Is it going above
Yeah,
Mjolnir though? That's the question of the day. Mjolnir always seems to come in my thinking. It's just one of those that I think it's underrated.
It really is. I do like the Mjolnir, but yeah.
But in the B minus, I mean, spike boots and say even Helios, because obviously Helios is separate from lava boots.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
this
the
would be
key
our
doubler.
first. This would be our first B minus item that actually, does damage in a way. We have one that removes damage and increases your swing size, but no, I think that B minus is a better fit.
You just mentioned key doubler, and I think that is a shop relic, but you are right. If I was having to compare, I'd take key doubler all day because resources allow you to get more relics in the future, especially if you're struggling with them. So I might be persuaded down to a C plus.
Yeah.
It's
I think-
obviously better than a C. Catalyst in this might be a push, but everything else on the C's, I would take Axe Thrower's Pendant all day. But some of the C plus, I think, like you were saying, it's a good fit for it as well. I know what you mean, Headwound with a B minus. With certain things on it, if there's a subcategory between it, C plus plus B minus minus.
Yeah, I think I would rather have the Waylands than the Archer's Pendant.
I'm in agreement with C plus.
Yeah, I'll agree with the C+.
All right, C plus it is.
Yep.
Well, the next relic,
Google. It's
Google.
a double relic. Who
It's a
knew?
double
It's
Google.
combined. You can combine Google into Google Squared, and
But yeah.
Knight's Pendant. It provides an extra 1 point of damage for every 30 HP the player currently has. Now, when you're beginning out, that HP is not terribly high. So this is not a super powerful relic, but it really, like, as you move through your summoning stones and as you build your HP that you get from the hub, and then as you get new items that increase that HP and also blessings, this becomes more and more powerful the more HP you get. So this is like, when I see this is an absolute take for me every single time. No excuses. I love that it's common because it becomes so useful to a swing build. So good. Suffer?
Again, automatic unlock from right in the beginning of the game. Even though when you first start the game, it's not going to give you as much damage. You've got to put it into perspective that you don't have as much damage to begin with. You don't have as much HP, but you don't have as much damage. So it is kind of, into that perspective, it is still a big boost. Say an extra 5 points of damage when you first start the game is quite a considerable chunk, and one you'll always be taking from the very start to the very end of your Undermine experience. Again, you want to try and remain at full HP, but you can't, so it does lose value. But when you get hit, and if you're playing badly, so you are punished for any mistake even more. But I don't think I can blame the Knight's Pendant for that. I think it does what it says on the tin. I think it does it well. It offers you a tremendous amount of extra damage in certain extra situations where you're building up your HP. Yeah, solid.
In my opinion, it's the best of the pendants. One pendant I would always take over any of the other ones.
Absolutely.
So, where would we want to rank this? Is it as much swing? It can possibly get you just about as much swing damage as the Demon Ring.
I think it's a mediocre in comparison.
Yeah, but like it's probably not as great as the Demon Ring because the Demon Ring is percentage based, but you still get a lot of damage out of it.
You do.
So
yeah,
it's a difficult.
I like the A minus position. There is a lot of A relics that I would take over this that are damage based.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think the A minus is a good fit.
It's conditional as well, so it's not an automatic chunk like the Demon Ring. It's one and possibly only negative that the conditional HP drop would screw you over. So
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to punish
Demon
it, but I
Ring-
kind of have. I will.
Whereas
Deal
the
with it,
Demon
Knight's
Ring, you
Pendant.
always have that damage. But yeah, I think there's a lot of A's that I would take over it. Like I would probably take Dirks over the Knight's Pendant, just because Dirks just have so much more potential. But yeah, moving on.
So
to
good
the
for the
next
extra
pendant.
damage, though. Again, swing damage is king. But when we come into something like the Archer's Pendant, which we're going to explore now, Throw damage. It can be, queen in a way, with being a strong secondary. An Archer's Pendant reliant on having high health, just like the Knight's Pendant. You don't get as much. Again, the swing damage and throw damage, you always have less throw damage, unless you're on some wacky build. So,
Mune.
shut up. Mune is one of those that, yes,
Yeah.
but it's one of those that is kind of... I'm not going to rate Archer's Pendant on the basis of Mune. While you do get less throw damage, it's in perspective that you have less throw damage anyway, and you can use your throw in a safer position for more defensive play, which, again, such a valid strat when you've got enemies that deal a lot of melee damage. What's the tagline? Once a year, an archery tournament is held in Delvemore. This pendant is its prize. I want to go to that archery contest. I need it as a minigame in the game. You have to unlock this. It's one you'll want to unlock, though. Again, any damage-related perk. Simply, you're just going to be wanting to pick them up. It's a staple, again, of building in the game. You want to build both your throw and your swing. Maybe not equally, but this is one of the better throw damage. Maybe not as good as Gaunt's, but we're going to assess that right now. What do you guys think?
Headwound?
This one, I feel this is almost at the same level of like the Axor's Pendant. Yeah, it does give you some additional damage, but it's not a knight's. Yeah, it's not a knight's pendant. It does not give you that much more damage.
See, I thought you'd
think
come
is
to its
unfair.
defense with being a more throw builder.
No, this one is not one that I would normally take because it doesn't feel like it gives me that much more throw damage for my health. I feel like Knight's Pendant actually gives more. So in that case, this doesn't rank that high. Now I may need to do some testing in it to prove that the amount of damage increase is not at the same level as Knight's Pendant, but it sure feels like it.
I think it's about that perspective again, where you just get less throw damage and it just kind of... You have to accept that kind of portion for the defensive play for the throw. And again, with a swing throw technology, any extra damage on anything, you're always building both your swing and throw for that extra benefit of using both your primary and secondary in conjunction with each other. It depends if you can trade this into swing. If you can trade it into swing damage, and you know you can, fair play. All day.
Yeah.
I'd rather have everything on swing, but you can't. So I always prefer over Axor's Pendant because of the relation to the high health. Obviously, we like to be at high health at all times, so I've never seen it as that bad. I wouldn't say it's better than Gaunt's, though. Priskip?
Nah. I don't have this one unlocked because I don't tend to build up my throw as much as my swing. The only time, or heck, I don't even have the throwing blessings unlocked except for the one that Lilith gives you whenever you rescue her. So I just tend to primarily rely all the time on my swing for the high summoning stones, which it's not a bad thing. It works well for me. Summoning stone 86, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think
suppose-
it's... I'm not sure where to rank this thing. It's definitely better than the Archer's Pendant because it's better to be at
Yes.
high health than low health. But again,
It's
I don't
not
think
as
it's
good
as...
as the Knight's Pendant.
Yeah,
so
it's
we
not
know
as
we're
useful
we're
as Knight.
somewhere in between in the B's. But is it a throwing star level? Is it a phantasmal axe level? Or is it something else?
I think it beats out the glaive.
Yeah,
I think it's Phantasmal. In
I
my...
would put
Yeah.
it with Phantasmal because Phantasmal and this thing will do generally the same thing, even though this one has the advantage of not ricocheting off in a random direction and not accidentally attacking lightning bugs. So
I think
Yeah.
it comes
I'd put
back
it
to
in the B+.
damage as king.
yeah,
The over floaty boots, I'll take Pendant all day. It's just damage. I'll take any damage. Most of the time.
so I'll agree with a B+ for that one. That's pretty good spot for it.
Yeah. Good spot.
All right. So the next one is not a pendant, but a stick made of iron. It is the Iron Branch. Increases base health. Dog.
It's a chew toy for that dog in the background.
Papas. How you doing, Papas?
Yeah. Well, sometimes whenever there's people make noise outside, they hear it and then they bark.
Everybody loves a
Oh.
doggo. It's all good.
Yep. But yeah, Iron Branch increases base health by 10%, base swing damage 5, and swing speed by 10%. This is essentially everything that you could ever want for your swing build, all in one relic. It's just a boost of all 3 of your basic things that you would want in your swing build. It's really good. Really good. Now, Headwind.
No, this is one of those that when I see it, it's an automatic take. It's just instantaneous. There's not many relics that weigh against it as, with as much benefit. Yeah, I just I mean, you've labeled it all. It's a take for me. It's common. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better mediocre ring. When you think about it. It's got everything you need. Just swing is king. With a swing speed. Again, I know we do throw swing a lot, which makes swing speed a little bit redundant, but what you're trying to do, you're trying to build up your swing speed to a point where your swing throw is less important than your overall swing speed. Because your swing speed at the start is so low, you have to bring your throw into it to get the most out of it. And again, swing throw will be hopefully a method a lot of people learn in the game because it's just so good. It feels badass. And when I first kind of started doing it, I knew I had something special there, especially because I was using it in silt. Silty silt.
Silt.
I was doing it in silt, and I was like, all right, can I stretch this out into the whole game? Turned out I could, and it went from there. And stuff like this gives you, even if you end up keeping swing throw and don't use the swing speed as much, you still got the damage, you still got the HP. HP as well as king. 2 very important stats it's building there. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So where do we think we're going to put this guy? A?
Hey. Simply, compared to everything else. I think it's going to get, for some relics, I think it's going to get easier to rank them as we go through, because some are just super obvious. I think Headwound will completely agree. Dear?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just super obvious where it goes now.
Yep.
When you compare it to the 20% extra damage from Cracked, it's very similar, because you get 5% swing damage, 10% swing speed, and 10% HP. You got 25% overall of very important stats, just like the Ursine Ring, 20% HP, 15% swing damage from Demon Ring. It's just so comparable. They're not the same, but they're all kind of from the same family of awesomeness.
Mm-hmm. And it's nothing too crazy outlandish like the things in the A+ tier or even the S tier, where you see those and you just get all excited. You still get excited with an Iron Branch, but when you see most of the things in the A+ and S tier, you're like, oh!
Yeah.
So.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
All right. Well, up next we have the Queen's Crown. Increase base throw damage by 10%, your swing range by 0.4, and your base attack speed by 20%. That is solid. I mean, everything about this relic is really important for me in my types of runs. It gives you that extra throw damage, the extra swing size, and the extra swing speed. This is a take for me, like almost every single time. I think there's only one other relic that I would take over this, which is the Other Crown. So, guys, Suffer, what's your thoughts?
The only problem is it's rare. Automatically unlocked again, but don't be fooled. Swing range at 0.4. That's actually quite a lot. I think the minimum upgrade is 0.2. If I'm not mistaken. I might be. Don't quote me on that. But base attack speed by 20% as well. You're going to have a lot of fun with that increase. Okay, it's not a hyperstone, but it makes up for not being a hyperstone with a swing range. Range, as well, is one of those stats that you're going to be thanking the gods you have, because so many enemies are melee based that swinging them away at distance makes your throw less important.
Well, for this thing, what I really like about the Queen's Crown is early game when you don't have the cleave blessing, there are essentially only 3 different sources of cleave in the game when you're first starting out. One, the battle axe, but that reduces your overall swing damage. Then there's the Queen's Crown, which increases. I don't think it's as big as the battle axe, but it's still a significant increase of cleave, and it also increases the swing speed, and you don't get reduced damage. It's really nice. And then the third one is the swing size potion, but that's temporary. So, but for me, if I see a Queen's Crown, I am generally really happy. It's just a great increase for the two of the primary stats that I always use, the swing size and the swing speed. So for me, I'd probably just slot this in right at the A.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing. This is just a perfect A slot match.
I couldn't disagree. Again, he couldn't bust it down to an A minus, considering what's A minus, and the Crown would simply run over everything at A minus. Can't really be an A because the likes of Hyperstone and Vorpal kind of outmatch it a hell of a lot, just from the sheer increase of one stat or a change of presentation, or just simply like pillow with the amount of defense it gives you. Like the A pluses are stacked.
Yeah.
That's its biggest problem in making that. I think one of the most difficult leaps for a relic is making it into the A plus category, or maybe even A plus to S. We've had some real difficulty moving A plus to S, or back and forth and deciding them. But Queen's Crown, part of a group that I'm always super happy to see, just as much as finding any other A tier relic. You're happy to find Dirks, Extra Life, the Crit, Brothers. You know, they're both dog related as well, so the Crit relics really should put them at A plus just for being dog related.
Speaking of dogs,
They heard that? Cool.
It's the call of the wild.
Yep.
Interesting tagline. The land that is now Delmore was once ruled by giants. The old giant king's crown was forged into 2 complementary crowns for the kings and queens. Beautiful. Oh, a little bit of lore there. This Undermine is actually a homage to another game. I can't rightly remember at the moment, but yeah. Go on the Undermine Discord and ask. That's what I did. Moving on to the King's Crown. Directly opposed to the Queen's Crown in the stats it gives you. Increases your base swing damage by 10%, so swing damage this time instead of throw damage. Throw size and throw speed, as opposed to the cleave and the other Queen's Crown stat. You got the throw size by 0.35, base throw speed by 40%, so it's a big increase. And throw speed, again, I've become a lot more attached to rare King's Crown. This is one that you unlock, not given from the start of the game, so you're going to be hunting this one down, mainly for that extra swing damage. It's going to be an additional 10% that's going to really increase the likelihood of you doing well in a run. Again, even 10% swing damage, considering the sources from blessings as well, can really interact with any stats you get on your blessings, on your relics, sorry. But throw size, it's not the stat I normally look for. I can normally do without it, but the speed and the swing damage really come into its own. This is going to be a difficult one, whether this is better than Queen's Crown. What do you guys think?
I agree. This is the better of the two for the style that I play, because of the increase swing damage and the faster throw speed. Because I play with both. I play with the throw speed and with swing damage. So, sorry, I just feel like I'm saying it redundant, but this one weighs more, just slightly more for me than the Queen's Crown. With that being said, there are times where I have actually taken the Queen's Crown because of its swing size
Mm,
difference.
exactly what I was thinking.
And that
Yeah, cleave.
can be very beneficial, but we can't outweigh the swing damage that this gives you.
Well, it's the 20% attack speed of Queen's Crown that really does it for me. 20% is in the thick. When you're in the thick of it, that 20% and cleave, oh, I just can't. I would give up 10% swing damage to get 20% attack speed and the range all day, in my opinion. King's Crown is one to take because you're going to be using your throw. Having that throw speed will allow you a lot of different leverage in certain situations. I mean, that swing damage will help you out and it'll potentially help you kill enemies where you wouldn't have done before. This is really contentious, actually. It's one that there is no right answer, of course. It's all down to even room to room differences of opinion now.
They've done an exceptional balance between these two crowns, and I really appreciate the detail that they gave to both of them and the adjustment in percentages.
Priskip.
I think of the King's Crown and the Queen's Crown. They both do different things, but they both do them about the same. And I really like both of them. I love finding. Hey, if I find a crown, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to choose between the two, that would be a really tough choice. I would have to decide whether or not I have enough cleave and swing speed, or if I need more, or if I don't have enough damage, or if I have enough damage. It's a real balancing act of situation to situation, whether which one of these crowns I'm going to end up taking.
For
So
the
for
people
me,
at home,
I don't feel like, yeah, I don't feel like I could rank the King's Crown any higher than the Queen's Crown, and it definitely doesn't compare to the likes of a Pillow or a Hyperstone. But at the same time, I don't think I can rank it any lower than the Queen's Crown and put it down to the A minus. I think it just rightly belongs right where it is, where I put it in the A.
I'm going to give you a difficult theoretical. You got a duplicator first floor. Second floor, Queen's Crown, King's Crown. Which one do you take?
Queen.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's,
We both said it at the same exact time.
yeah, it's just there really is no choice because of the cleave size that it gives you so early on, and you're going to find out as you play through your summoning stone levels that is a huge thing with making progress and giving yourself protection.
Cleave is
So,
one of the best things to have for Celt.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah.
for the people
Yeah.
at home. I knew that was a question they'd probably ask, like, if you were forced to choose. Because you're kind of seeing him trying to hedge your bets, and I wanted to remove that option. So,
Yeah.
thank you for the answer. I Queen's Crown all day long. It's always been
Yeah.
one that, for one, sometimes you mix up the crowns. And luckily, after so many hours of playing, you kind of recognize them now.
Yeah.
Like, which one does which again? So,
I still have to read the description.
that'll
But
happen.
yeah, I think the Kings belongs with the Queens in the A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree.
Well, the next one's going to be a little bit controversial, and interested to see what you guys say about where you think it will go. I have an inkling of where I'd want to put it, but
Yeah, the Emperor's Crown. This one is obtained by getting both the King and the Queens. So it's essentially a combination of both of them. I believe it gets you the same amount of, the same amount of stats as if you just had the two base relics, but you also get a bonus blessing. It is a random blessing. You can't choose it, and it's just one level of that blessing. Now, if you have Sylph level 3, you get two of them, or two of that blessing, obviously. But yeah, hey, I like having both crowns, and the little extra blessing can be a cherry on top if you're not worried about your glazing average. So, suffer.
Problem with this one is how we've ruled the Helios boots. Because we ranked Helios boots independently. So, we are not taken into consideration, if we follow this Helios boots method, we are not taken into account Queen's Crown or King's Crown stats.
Mhm.
So we're just taking into account the blessing.
Yeah.
And what we perceive as increased stats, but I don't think that's true. I think you just get the Queens, Kings, and blessing.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't think
absolutely
it's as big as a
fucking
paladin.
garbage because it ruins your. Because when you're building, right? Here's the thing: when you're building blessings, and you have potions unlocked that help you manipulate the blessings in the future, you're gonna kick yourself when you take the both crowns and get the Emperor's crown. Of course, you will have both Queen's crown and King's crown, so it's really hard to separate them. It really is, because you know with the Emperor's crown you've got you've got both crowns. But it really messes with your blessings when you get a random blessing. If you're looking for the, say, 8 main blessings that you want, and you get a 9th blessing, and that ruins your average for glazing potion. Oh, it ruins everything. However, I don't know if I can separate the fact that once you've got the Emperor's crown, you're pretty sorted. You're set up for throw and swing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difficult one to separate, while we have done for Helios boots. What did you guys think on that one?
Headwound?
Yeah. So with this one I is an easy choice for me. Because if I have one and I have the other, I know all my stats are increased and I'm good to go. So I don't see this as a negative if I get that one extra blessing. I'm like, oh, I got an extra blessing. Okay, well, I just have to work around that. If it's in the wrong position or if I get a blessing that I don't necessarily need or want. But the fact that and I don't believe I've ever got both crowns so early on in my run that additional one blessing messed up some type of synergy that I was working on. With that being said, there have been situations where I have gotten like a Keyblade and King's Crown, and I've taken the Keyblade, which only gave me the opportunity of the Queen's Crown and took away the option of getting the Emperor's. But, I can't.
I'm talking
I
about
just,
duplicated there?
yeah, like in
Yeah.
a duplicator situation. So, do we. I don't know that we can necessarily, call it a bad thing to take both crowns and get both abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But no, again, the
So
Queen's crown and the King's crown are separate. I know you lose Queens and Kings when you get Emperors, but the way we've judged Helios boots,
but
again,
remember,
Helios boots. If we rate Emperors good, it means we're bringing into account Queen's crown and King's crown. The way we've rated Helios is we've essentially just rated them. Why have we rated Helios as a B minus when obviously
I'll
it's
tell
an
you why.
improved lava boots?
No, it's not. It's an
It's oil
improved galoshes.
Yeah.
No, because you still get the benefits of Helios. I mean, you still get the benefits of lava boots.
Well,
So
It's
No,
kind of in
no,
the middle of
you
the two.
right. So you're
Yeah.
complaining that you get to actually take galoshes and improve it and not have to jump.
no,
or it's
I'm
slow to oil.
saying that I'm ruining my lava boots by picking up the galoshes.
Yeah, that's why we put it so low, is because when you have the Helios, it is nice to have the combination of the two, but the amount of oil that you spread across the room is visually noisy and can cause all sorts of issues. Like you can even get frame rate lag, and well, it's hard to
Yeah.
blame a relic on game lag, but hopefully that gets fixed in
Yeah.
the 1.0 version that's coming out soon, because the devs have been putting in a lot of hard work. But yeah, we put the Helios boots kind of right between the two because it's a combination of the lava and the galoshes. So it made sense to put the Helios. You kind of like, you still have the upsides of the lava, but you have the downsides of the galoshes.
Yeah.
So we kind of just stuck it right in the middle. But for the for the Emperor's crown, both the base constituents are at A.
Yeah.
But
Good point.
the thing with me about the Emperor is that one random blessing that can mess up your average. But like Headwound said, most of the time you're not going to get the Emperor's crown early enough where you want to be glazing a lot, because usually when you're glazing, if you're running Spirit, you're usually glazing because you have maxed out your potion inventory and you just want to drink a glaze to bring up your average before a boss fight. Or if you're running Sylph, you glaze to try to build up that average before you hit Sylph level 3.
No, it's usually later on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't run.
Like earlier
Sylph.
on, it doesn't really matter because you want as many blessings as possible, and then build an
Okay.
average. You want every single blessing as a single, especially because I run Sylph. It's one of those. This is where we differentiate a lot. Where
Yeah,
you two run Spirit a lot, I run Sylph. So I'm trying to get one of every blessing, and then build the average. So if you get this later on, once you've built your average, say you're a Nori or beyond, and you've got, say, a good 10 average of every blessing you wanted, and you don't want any new blessings, which you can normally control. You pick up the Emperor's Crown, you get throw damage, the one that always pops up. Almost
Yeah.
makes me want to take throw damage all the time and build it with my average just as protection, because it's so common.
Yeah. And I've actually started doing that.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's actually pretty cheeky.
I usually
Yeah.
put throw damage in there just for the fun of it.
So I'm going to let you know, guys, I would have, right off the bat, I would have just put this at the same level as the other two crowns.
Yeah. It's worth it.
There's not such a great increase in the benefit that you get, nor a dissatisfaction with what you get that is going to cause me to push it into an A plus or an A minus.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, it doesn't regret. It's never a regret taking both the queens and the kings, even if you get an extra blessing that rules. The benefits of the constituent parts are equal
Yeah.
to its current position.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, now comes probably one that we may have some controversy on.
The suck.
Pilfer ring. This is allows the player to attract gold from a distance and grants a 20% discount at the shops. Now, this is a common already unlocked relic with the game. Soak up the gold and get a discount at the shop. A token of friendship between the pilfers and the peasants of Delmar. It's so nice. Thank you, guys. I mean, this one actually has a great purpose. It has multiple purposes. When you get into a room, if an enemy or yourself happens to break some gold and gold drops on the ground, pilfers automatically go for it, which could make it more difficult for you to do the swing or the throw to hit the enemy, and instead you're hitting pilfers out of the way, which could lengthen the amount of fight in the room. But with this, when you get close enough, it attracts all that gold to you, which then causes the pilfers to leave the room. This also early on, this is incredible because you get the discount in the shop, and if you don't already have a lot of gold, 20% discount can be actually it could be the difference of you being able to buy a relic or buy a potion to remove a curse or something of that. So I think this is I like it in many of my runs, but not all the time. There are things that outweigh this. Suffer?
It's an expensive one. For the 20% discount at shops, it does cost a little bit. But it solves a few problems. Sucking up all the gold in the room very quickly limits the amount of pilfers that come on screen in fight rooms, which is amazing, because it makes your throw more viable. 20% discount at shops, Headwound's correct when you start the game, having this unlocked, and if you can afford it. For the rest of the run, if you can get into some good places, hey, it means you get to take more back to the hub area to spend on upgrades, because you're spending less. Because you're going to be buying things, so you want that to generally, not cost as much. It just makes economical sense. The only problem is its cost in the early game. Later game, I still like picking it up because there's strats involving gold. So, it's a really, you're right, it is a bit of a contentious one in certain areas, but it's only a shop relic. It doesn't appear in relic rooms, so you have that as well. Priskip, what do you have to say about it, man?
This is one of my favorite relics in the game, mainly because I'm lazy and I don't feel like picking up my gold.
Yeah, I relate.
But yeah, I love this thing because it does help clear up the pilfers, which for me I like doing in shop rooms whenever I open up chests to try to get more potions out of. Just helps get all the pilfers out of there earlier. But yeah, it does have a lot of unique combinations. Well, not necessarily combinations like the Emperor's Crown or the Queen's Bomb, but it has a lot of synergies with other gold relics that activate when you pick up your gold.
Mm.
And if you're able to get your gold at a distance, you're able to pick it up faster, and it allows you to trigger those relics faster and get more benefit out of them. So there's a lot of unique gold relics that we'll be talking about next episode, I do believe, that this thing synergizes quite well. But for me, I just like the utility of not having to run exactly over the position of where the gold is, or to throw my pickaxe at it, or to have Canary pick it up if I'm early game. It's just, yeah, it's a nice little relic. I really enjoy it.
What's it normally
Yeah,
in a
it
boss fight?
does.
Yeah.
It does mess with one other relic synergy, which actually Supper's going to talk to in a minute.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, where are we going to put this?
Yeah, that's a tough choice.
Well,
Well,
I
normally when
don't
you
know that
clear
it's.
it, you're picking up gold in a room because the gold has been released by accident. So, like Priskip's saying, the utility is fantastic. Because pilfers get in the way. They're so enraging, and if you limit that, I'm gonna throw it out there. A minus.
I was thinking either B plus or A minus, because I was definitely thinking it's similar. Like it goes super yeah, it's just super nice with the golden popcorn. Helps you pick up all that extra gold, and the gold will popcorn before it gets sucked into you. I do believe, at least it does in my experience. But would I take the pilfer ring over battle standard or the? I definitely would
Yeah,
take the pilfer ring
I
over the leftovers.
I can't put it at an A plus.
You see why I'm
I would
rating it
have
A
to put it
minus? Because of the early game.
sorry, an A minus. I can't put it at the A minus, but I would put it at a B plus because I would take
Right. Sorry,
gold
think about
double
somebody who's
over
starting the
this.
game. Do you remember how much of a pain in the ass it is to pick
Oh
up
yeah,
gold early game? Like, when you first start learning the game, it is super difficult to collect gold and not have Pilfer steal it. The utility and
yeah.
value for a person who's starting the game, and I don't want to lose sight of that. And we've got so much experience now that we're forgetting certain things, and we shouldn't totally have our forgotten experience be forgotten. That's why I'm personally I threw it out there for an A minus, because for people who are watching this who potentially just bought the game for full release, I can't state highly enough the utility for starting out and beyond. You can. This is very moldable as a relic, if you see what I mean.
So what I
Has
was
the
hoping
potential.
is that we would actually put this at a B plus for right now because I have a feeling that the next episode that we're going to be recording is going to cause us to reposition this. And so
Hmm.
there are some relics that are coming up that in turn synergize so well with this that I would agree an A minus is where this is going to go. But if you want to know what relics, you guys will have to watch the next episode to see which ones we're talking about. But I think A minus for now. Let's leave it, and then we can justify it tomorrow.
I'll be justifying it anyway. Again, it's just so kind of built into the fabric of the game and the
Yeah.
gold standard. Again, I don't want to have new people watch and think that we rate it anything but integral in a kind of way. Moving on to the unstable concoction, another gold relic that will allow you to hit the gold out of the rock, blow up some more rock. I mean, it's destructive. I like it in a way. A little bit annoying. Gold hits the floor with an explosive force. Doesn't hurt you. However, does have some little problems where if you're knocking about in the shop, destroying some baskets, and a little bit of gold comes flying around the transmute machine once you start unlocking the transmute potential. It destroys them and blows them up, and then it changes some of the worst stories. When you're knocking about in a shop, you found that perfect relic that you want. Knock about in a shop, get a bit of gold out there, and destroys your transmute machine. That relic is gone forever. Shit. The explosions does not count as an actual explosive, but it will destroy. It does take a few gold sometimes. I think the explosive force depends on the actual size of the gold. It can hurt enemies in combat. It's got a lot of different synergies, as you see in the interactions. Positive with Adventurer's Hat, Caramel, Popcorn, Golden Delicious. Very nice. It can, it's not, again, it's kind of the part of the gold standard of the game. It's a contentious one, but that's why it's called unstable. We've all got unstable feelings about it.
Yeah,
Guys.
I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. The number of times that I've gone into a shop, and I'm one of those, I became addicted to the idea when I go into a room, if I see a bush or some container or whatever, or a box, I have to break it. It's just a compulsion. And when you're in the shop and you forget, and then you break those, the vials down at the bottom left by the transmute, and a piece of gold pops out, and you look at the room and there's that relic that you've been waiting for.
They put it there on
and
purpose.
Then it's instantly gone, and you're like, why have I not learned? How many times have I done this? But at the same time, that's just personal for me, like just that stupid stuff, and it makes the game interesting also. But the number of times when you're out in your adventure through the different rooms and you break a piece of gold and it pops around, and then all of a sudden it opens up the secret staircase or a secret room, or it breaks a block and then you find pet rock or a potion or a key. There's so many things that can be obtained by breaking things in the game. It's just beautiful. I really enjoy having this relic, except for when I have Pilfer's Ring. And that's when I began to regret having Pilfer's Ring, because you want this, especially with like a golden popcorn and the unstable concoction synergy. Wow, you just got just explosions everywhere, and everything's getting unlocked, and you're like, woohoo, I didn't even have to put a bomb on the ground, I got everything unlocked already. So I love it.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with this thing too. If I am, essentially it comes down to this. If I am running Spirit, I don't pick this up. If I'm running any other familiar other than Spirit, I'll pick it up, gladly use it. Because for me, this tag right here, destroy transmute machines, that's my deal breaker. Because I will tend to use chest potions in shops to try to get more potions out of those chest potions. It works really well if you have a level 3 Spirit, or even just a level 2 Spirit. But if one of those chests lands next to a transmute machine, granted, there's always a risk because traps can sometimes be trapped. But if you have unstable concoction, even a non-trap chest will spew out gold. That gold will hit the floor, blow up the transmute machine. Boom! You have to wait till the next floor, next shop, to do all your crazy transmuting of potion shenanigans, and it can make you lose some really nice stuff. Like you could transmute a rainbow kernels. It's like no. But if you're not doing potion shenanigans or just trying to transmute the shop and break the game with transmutation technology, then this is a fantastic relic. Highly recommend.
Bedrock.
Oh yeah,
Super.
and it can help you find your pet rock.
It'll help you
So
so well.
where would I put it?
Oof.
I would probably put it B plus.
I was gonna say A minus.
Ooh. Reasonings, lads. Reasonings.
You first, Headwound.
Well, my reasoning is because I will sometimes take unstable concoction over Pilfer's ring because of the fact that it can unlock so many things. If I'm having a hard time getting enough bombs to have me test walls or to break blocks, I will specifically go through every single room and break every single piece of gold that is in every room with the potential of finding the secrets, because I think that is that's part of the RNG of the game. That's part of the way the game is designed, being able to find these secret rooms to unlock and get more chests, to get more gold, to get more items, and really move the RNG forward. In many ways, I think that this is actually better than golden popcorn.
I'll tell you what I think. I think it belongs with a bombushka.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Explain.
Well, bombushka literally destroys a room. This destroys a room. It's in between B plus and B minus, what you guys were talking about. I just looked at bombushka's face and she spoke to me. Saying, hey, put it on the B. I need company.
She's a killer. She's a murderer.
Yeah, but unstable concoction is also unreasonably unstable.
I can't. I mean, if we want to concede and come into the middle at a B plus, I'm reluctant.
I thought you said B minus, Headwind.
No, I said A minus.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he said A minus.
Well
Yeah, I
then,
said A minus.
I would put it at B plus.
yeah, I'll B plus it. Again, the unstable nature of it. Again, I thought you said B minus, and I was thinking, nah, well, that's a bit low for you, Headwind. I mean, come on, give it some credit. All right, fair enough.
No.
Yeah, I do see its value. I prefer having the Pilfer ring or the bomb, or like the 2 bomb upgrades, the Rooks or the Bishop's bomb, because they're more controllable. Like like it says in the name, unstable concoction. It's blown up so many transmute machines of mine and killed my runs that I just never pick it up anymore.
It's a distraction in the room as well. It does cause a popping kind of sensation, which leads to you being distracted. It can do. Again, any noise in a room leads you to... Your eyes get all fucked up.
You know what? Have you ever played Undermine without audio?
I haven't.
I challenge you. Whole episode, no audio.
It's an experience.
It is.
I can imagine.
Now, what's even more of an experience is whenever you're watching one of Suffer's other Mine videos, or even Undermine videos, and you're playing the game yourself, and you hear the audio from his game while you're playing your game. That's a challenge. But
Yeah. No thanks.
I have played
lot of
the
fun.
game with the music turned off, but not the sound effects, and people complained. But that
Yeah.
was by accident on a YouTube video, not on stream.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah,
I remember that.
Mistakes happen. I have
Hey,
no
it
idea
does.
why.
yeah.
It
But I think
does.
B plus is a good place for the concoction.
Yeah, I don't think it deserves an A. I just think it doesn't... Bombs can replace what this does.
Yeah.
Especially the
Yeah.
Rooks.
Yep.
And it's
I would pretty
alternative.
much take I would pretty much take any of these over this. And
Mhm.
even a good bit of these.
Yeah.
Maybe like I might pick up the wet blanket. I would probably pick up wet blanket or masa over concoction, but I would pretty much always take an A minus over the concoction. But yeah,
I think it's a good call for it.
Yeah,
But that is
Yeah,
all
that's
9 done for that is all 9 done for today. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you joining me once again for all these 9 relics. A few gold, a few crowns. I mean, it was a good selection today. We really got through some nice relics, some Good conversation there. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Priskip.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Headwound.
As always.
I've been Suffer of Let's Suffer Together. If you like the video, like the content, always consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below if you thought we fucked up, if we had some good decisions. Put one of your favourite relics and, you know, preferred spot that you enjoyed. Let us know. We want to hear about it. Make sure you're checking out Headwound's content on YouTube and Twitch. Priskip also has a Twitch now, all at twitch.tv/Let's Suffer Together /Headwound/Priskip. Again, make sure you're checking out Headwound's content on YouTube. Just type in the old Headwound on YouTube, click that subscribe button. He deserves it. Again, you need more YouTube. You need more Undermine content in your life, and that's where you get it. But for now, I've been Suffer of Let's Suffer Together, and you take it easy. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Later.